Well, fellas, I am back with another update on the Cavalier for the youth driver. Let me sit back here. As you can see, we foamed it already. We have the radiator strapped in, a hose duct taped and all that. Battery lines ran, fan wires ran, jumper wire for the starters ran. I don't remember if the header was on here last time or not. So yeah, just do a quick rundown of each component here. Now the radiators, I learned this from Demolition Missions, but you never, ever bolt your radiators in by factory. And that's mainly because, so as you can see on this radiator, it has these plastic fingers right here that stick out. Now it happens when you get hit and the core support starts to flex. It grabs these fingers and it cracks and it breaks this plastic. And your coolant flows in there to go around your transmission cooler and all that, and that just allows all the water to pour out. Here's an example of what I mean. This was in a Jeep Liberty that had a front end collision with a telephone pole a month after I bought it. But anyway, as you can see, it just cracked. I originally thought the hose just ruptured because it was right into the frame, right where it bent. But as you can see, there's the fins for the water. That is why I always cut the fingers off. Cut the fingers off, stick it in here. I put cushion just out of your back seat. I flip it over, take a utility knife and cut a chunk out of it. I have two on the bottom as well, so nowhere is it contacting metal. It eventually will. Strap it in with your ratchet straps or seat belts. My Subaru has seat belts and self-tappers. These are ratchet straps I get for free from my job. All our giant paver parts come in ratchet strapped to the skids, so we get to take as many of these straps home as we like. Another good place to get cheap ratchet straps is the Dollar Tree. That's where this one came from like 6 years ago. And this is just the tail, it's loose. This is the actual strap. And it is holding my fan on. I'm not pleased where the actual ratchet part is. You can see it right there. But I couldn't really put it anywhere else to keep it off the actual radiator. But it is holding it on there, and then I have the foam help holding it on, and then this blue ratchet strap actually goes around and holds it tight to it as well. And this hose just has some duct tape on it to help it just give it some more layers if it starts to get rubbing or something slices across it, or also as it gets hot. The Subaru, I noticed when rubber hoses got hot, they got almost like jello-y, really, really soft and pliable. So this is also just to help hold all the hoses together. We did not put any on this just because it has a bunch of T connectors off of it, and usually I wrap hangers around them to help keep them from crimping shut. Don't worry about this, it's just a ground cable. Got cut. If you guys remember how I run my cables, I'll talk about that in a little bit. So that's just real quick, well I guess not real quick, but there's the radiator and how it gets installed. And it does not have a filler cap on the radiator. We actually had to keep this just to fill the radiator, so we covered it in spray foam. If you're running a 03 Cavalier, this box, it breaks off the side. I believe it actually had a bolt holding on here that I cut with a grinder, and this had just literally popped out. Pushed it over here. Nothing's holding it in but foam. This is a bunch of plugs and electrical behind it. The temp sensor, which you pull that to keep it from going into limp mode. And real quick for the homemade header. Isn't that just beautiful? All the crap sticking out of it. That's why we love them. Oh, and then cruise control. I unbolted it, and there's like this little ribbon holding it together, I guess. So I just cut that. And what I do is I take a pair of wire cutters and I just keep nibbling and cutting at this plastic until the only thing left is this cable. If you guys can see that cable right there in the middle. So this one is not very long, so we added 9 wire to it, and then it's knotted onto something. He knotted it down there, which I can see is going to need rerouted, so he can get to it. And have the battery cable. This is the computer. It was here. It is now here, like I said it was in an earlier video. Got all the spray foam on it. Blew the airbag out. And when you blow your airbags out, I just take the airbag wires, wrap them to an old extension cord I have, and then touch them to the battery some distance away. And that blows your airbag out. And then save all your airbags because they are flame resistant, I believe is the term. This is one of my Subaru I used in the last derby it was in. Just cut a hole in the bottom of it and put it over your battery, and it'll keep things from landing on your battery. No, I take that back. It goes on the gas tank. I threw it on the gas tank. That's just to keep your gas tank happy. And you can see now underneath all this duct tape is a lot of electrical tape. And underneath the electrical tape is a big U-bolt holding all this together. And then you saw how I cut the negative cable off. Right here. The end is bared. This bolt will get pulled, the carpet pulled back, everything cleaned up with a grinder, and then bolted back down with this copper sandwiched between it, and that's your ground. And that saves you from having to use 2 cables. I bought 2 sets of cables, so there's 2 cables in each set, and I'm able to do 4 cars this way, and instead I would only be able to do 2 the normal way. I learned this from Zach's workshop. I'm pretty sure you've watched him if you're watching this. I'll show you real quick in my Echo because that's got a better shot. So as you can see, this goes down and is bolted right in there. Now I have not started this up since I did it, so I might have to clean it up more, but I don't think I will. And then they usually have a little ground that hangs off of it. And that I just clean up the metal here with the grinder and put a self-tapper in it to hold the ground there. And then it will go right on there. And then we got our positive, which just like the other one, a lot of electrical tape. A lot of electrical tape. Oh, my battery is low, that's why the camera just turned off. Okay, great. I was under the covers with the car. And then I think the only other thing is the shifter has now been extended. It's got a self-tapper down there holding it in. And that just allows it to shift as much as you want. So yeah guys, I'm going to have to wrap this up because my battery's dying. But there's an update on the 03 Cavalier. Got the window braces in. I will catch you guys next time.